Hey guys, I'm out in the shop again tonight trying to wrap up a couple of projects, and for those of you who have been following my videos for the last several weeks or so, you've no doubt seen some various update videos to a couple of my customers with whom I have some outstanding orders, and you may also know that those are my top priorities at this point. I really just want to get those wrapped up and shipped out to those guys as they've both been waiting for quite some time. Just due mostly to some various obligations I've had, including starting a new job, some family stuff, and so on and so forth. Just some things that have really prevented me from getting out here and spending the amount of time that I would like or that is necessary to finish their knives with attention to detail and quality and to get those out expediently. So unfortunately they have had to wait for quite some time, Pat definitely the longest, but I am finally happy to report that unless I've maybe missed or forgotten a minor detail, both of these knives are completed and should be just about ready to ship out after maybe a final touch-up and polishing. But I wanted to dedicate this video to Pat and Ryan's final update on their knives, and I'm not sure if I'll have to make a second video yet for Ryan's knife, as Pat's knives do have quite a bit of detail that I'd like to review and go over, so that may take up the remainder of my time with this video. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with the overview, kind of explain what I did for Pat, showing the finished product, and we'll go from there. And this is it, the final package. More or less of what I made for Pat. It is missing any lanyards, leg ties, and things of that nature. I am going to include some various links of black and olive drab 550 paracord that I had on stock for Pat to kind of customize what size lanyards and leg ties he wants. I'm not going to bother with that, just so he gets it exactly how he wants it. But that will be included. Nevertheless, this is kind of the final package. What you're seeing here is the large knife he requested, as well as a secondary or smaller utility blade, which I wanted to incorporate into the primary sheath. And basically the general idea on what Pat wanted and what I ended up making him is kind of a modular knife system. One with some various attachments, as you could see, that can be both removed or reversed for left and right hand carry. Can kind of be adjusted, customized, and each piece carried in different ways. And I'll try to go over that real quickly here before I run out of time. But that's just a quick overview of the package. And I'll kind of explain the various features, and maybe we'll have time to move on to Ryan's knife. What we have first here is the primary knife, or the larger knife, and what Pat wanted with this knife was just some basic features where it could be employed as a bushcraft knife, camp knife, a hunting knife, etc. But he also wanted an extended tang for use as some light prying. As kind of an additional feature. I went ahead and made him a little Kydex cover just to protect that when not in use. But that's a quick view of the tip of the knife. Tapered it slightly. As you can see, kind of sharpened that edge up just a little bit, although it still is dull. Should make somewhat effective use as a pry bar for some pretty light prying or some light tasks where you might not want to use the tip of your knife. And I'll go ahead and remove this first knife here. And this is kind of an overview of the knife. It's a full flat grind 1095 steel. Got a real nice, real sharp edge on there. My maker's marks, as well as custom etch that he requested with his nickname and a serial number denoting this as the first of this kind. I went ahead and used some black and green G10 layered scales with some nickel silver lanyard tube and pins. Also added some jimping mid-handle and towards the top of the handle where your thumb would rest, so it definitely locks in very securely, very comfortable grip. The way I designed this handle, I had a couple things in mind. I did make it a little bit longer than I would have otherwise, just to add some extra comfort with this additional extended tang, so that's not going to be digging into your palm. But I also wanted to make it longer so that you can employ a single finger choiled grip to get a little bit more leverage if using as a chopper. You can also use the two choils together for a full grip, very comfortable. Get some real good leverage and balance that way. The knife can also be held in a variety of other positions, reversed, upside down, etc. And everything's rounded over and very comfortable. So that's a basic overview of the primary knife. I also went ahead and made him a secondary knife upon request that would attach to the primary sheath. And this is just for your smaller utilities, your smaller chores where maybe that knife would be a little bit too big or hefty. And he also wanted something that he could lash onto a pole or a stick for use as a spear or for extended reach. So I went ahead and employed some 3/16 diameter holes to run some 550 paracord through in order to do that. So I got a very nice and sharp functional point there, real good edge on there, and should be a nice little utility knife. Very comfortable, you can get a lot of leverage with it if needed. Another thing that I kind of kept in mind while designing this was I wanted the sheaths to be kind of a multifunctional sheath for each knife. So both sheaths can be attached to a large Tek-Lok. I have an example here just to show you the spacing of these holes. They will accommodate any two of these eyelets with the Chicago screws in order to mount that sheath vertically, horizontally, pretty much in any position where there are two adjacent holes. With the secondary sheath, I also made it to where this could be used or doubled as a neck knife, but you can also attach it to a Tek-Lok as well if you would like. I went ahead and put some larger eyelets on there, but for now it's attached to the primary sheath, and it really doesn't add hardly any more bulk and really a negligible amount of weight. So very convenient to store it that way or to even carry it that way. Another thing that Pat wanted was a ferro rod or a fire steel holder, so I went ahead and made him one for a 3/8 diameter fire steel, which is the size of the fire steel that he told me he prefers. And I just have a small 3/8 inch bolt in there as an example. Holds extremely securely. There's no way you're going to be losing that steel, but it's there when you need it. That's removable and reversible as well, as is everything on the sheath, including the leather belt loop. That can be removed, reversed, left, right hand carry, whatever you want. And if you really wanted to, you can even run some paracord through these eyelets, and those are lined up so you can leave this knife on as well. And you can hang it around your neck, which I probably wouldn't do just due to the weight. But more ideally, you can use these for leg ties and mount it very securely, as shown. So one more thing, I almost forgot. He wanted something to hold his ID or some personal information. So I went ahead and just got a clear plastic ID holder and mounted it to the sheath that way, right behind the belt loop where it would stay secure and out of the way. But still be there for convenience when needed. This can be moved around, rotated, put on any of these screws as needed. I'll let you adjust that how you want it, but this should be somewhat effective for that. So about out of time now. That's just a real quick review for Pat's knife. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video and make another quick vid for Ryan showing him his knife. And I'll give some more details on maybe both knives together. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.